Good morning and thank you for joining us today on the Hello Africa Morning Show. We are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities, AAU, in Accra, Ghana. I am Isabella Hinakwa and I'm joined here by my co-host,
Philemon Edwards.
Philemon, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am fine. And as you see, we are in pink.
In pink.
Exactly. And this is just a reminder that we are still in the Breast Cancer Awareness month, and we are using this platform to encourage each and everyone to go or schedule for the breast cancer screening, and also you can continue doing the self-examination, right?
Exactly.
Have you done yours?
I haven't done it, but I will do it.
Oh, I thought you were about saying you're not going to do because you're not part.
No, I am aware of the fact that men are included in this conversation, but it's a conversation that I think needs to be enhanced every year, because a lot of men don't think that they are
part. They have to do
it. They have to start thinking about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. And also take note that early detection saves lives. So go do it. What do we have for our viewers today?
Well, today on the show, on Top African News, we are in Nigeria. We are talking about the rollout of the malaria vaccine. We are talking about Mpox outbreak, which has had some deaths across Africa, over 18 nations. And we are talking about ride-hailing apps also in Togo. And then Dangote is set to begin a crude oil production in 2025. This and many more coming up on the show today.
Exactly. So stick with us as we go for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is Hello Africa on AAU TV.
You're welcome back from the break. This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Purified Water and Biko Drinks. Now, first on our Top African News, Nigeria has received its first batch of the newly developed R21 malaria vaccine, becoming one of the first countries to roll out the groundbreaking vaccination developed by Oxford University scientists. With 846,200 doses now in hand, the country is taking a major step towards combating malaria, which remains a leading cause of illness and death, especially among children.
Mr. Mohammed Ali has emphasized the importance of this vaccine delivery, calling it a significant milestone in Nigeria's ongoing battle against malaria. The disease, transmitted by mosquitoes, affects 97% of the Nigerian population and accounts for 31% of global malaria deaths, according to the World Health Organization. The R21 vaccine, developed by researchers at the University of Oxford and manufactured by the Serum Institute of India in collaboration with Novavax, will be administered free of charge. A trial rollout is set to begin in Kebbi and Bayelsa, two states with the highest malaria burden, before expanding to other regions. The Nigerian Ministry of Health, in partnership with the Vaccine Alliance, is working to ensure nationwide coverage. To further bolster the campaign, an additional 153,800 doses are expected to arrive by October 26, bringing the total to 1 million. This vaccine comes at a crucial time as malaria remains a significant public health challenge in Nigeria, particularly during the rainy seasons when mosquito populations are most active.
And in the next story, Jane Kaseya, director of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC has called on international partners to fulfill their commitments in supporting efforts to combat the spread of mpox as the death toll continues to climb. The number of fatalities from the ongoing mpox outbreaks in Africa has now surpassed 1,000, with new cases emerging in 18 of the continent's 55 nations.
Africa CDC's Director Jean Kesaya confirmed that 50 more deaths this week have pushed the total number of fatalities to 1,100. He called on international partners to deliver on their pledges to support Africa's fight against mpox, which continues to ravage vulnerable communities across the continent. Africa CDC, in collaboration with the World Health Organization, has outlined a 6-month response plan with a budget of nearly $600 million. Over 55% of this amount will be allocated to controlling the outbreak in 14 heavily affected countries, as well as improving preparedness in 15 others. Mpox, a virus related to smallpox but causing milder symptoms such as fever, body aches, and in severe cases, lesions, continues to spread. Eastern Democratic of Congo remains the epicenter of the current crisis, while Zambia and Zimbabwe have become the latest countries to confirm cases. Originally discovered in 1958, mpox was confined in sporadic outbreaks in Central and West Africa until the global 2022 surge, which prompted quick vaccine response from wealthier nations. Africa, however, has struggled with limited vaccine access, making international support critical in preventing further spread and fatalities. The outbreak underscores the need for global equity in addressing health emergencies.
And in Togo, the Ministry of Transport has suspended Yango, a ride-hailing service owned by Russian tech giant Yandex, just months after it began operations in the country. The suspension comes amid concerns over passenger safety and violation of legal procedures.
Into a statement released by the ministry on Thursday, Yango, which started operating in June, did so without proper authorization in breach of the country's regulatory frameworks. Authorities cited concerns over the app's lack of compliance with safety and legal standards as reasons for halting its services nationwide. The ministry emphasized that the decision to suspend Yango was driven by the need to protect passenger safety, maintain order, and uphold the country's legal processes. The company, which had been offering ride-hailing services in Togo's capital, Lomé, did not immediately respond to the suspension or provide comments regarding the government's decision. The Transport Ministry made it clear that the suspension applies to Yango's operations across the entire national territory. Yango's suspensions underscores the growing focus on security and compliance in Africa's expanding tech and ride-hailing sectors. This incident also raises questions about regulatory oversight and the responsibilities of foreign tech companies operating in African markets.
The Dangote Group, owners of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, is preparing to start crude oil production by the first quarter of 2025 to bolster the operations of its $20 billion refinery in Lekki. The company announced this in response to a recent report by Report Africa confirming efforts to meet its targeted production timeline.
The Dangote Group's move to start local crude production is aimed at addressing feedstock challenges that have affected the refinery's operations since it commenced earlier this year. Currently, the refinery relies on crude imports including US WTI Midland crude, sparking tensions among stakeholders. Data from Report Africa showed that in September, the refinery processed just under 200,000 barrels of Nigerian crude after ceasing imports from the US in mid-July. A senior official from the refinery confirmed the plans, explaining that crude oil production will enhance supply to the facility. This comes after earlier reports indicated that the group is ramping up preparations to start extraction as its upstream projects in oil mining leases, OMLs 71 and 72, by late 2024. The production will begin at 20,000 barrels per day and is expected to scale up significantly by early 2025. Located offshore near the Boni terminal, these oil fields are believed to contain approximately 300 million barrels of recoverable oil and 2.3 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. The group is also exploring options to source additional crude from countries like Libya, Senegal, and Brazil. While the NMPC is expected to supply 60% of the refinery crude needs, the refinery's eventual goal is to eliminate Nigeria's reliance on imported refined products by increasing local production. The refinery, which started its residue catalytic cracker in September, continues to adjust its operations to ensure a steady flow of feedback for its process.
Now, the Israeli forces have reportedly killed Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas in Gaza and a key figure behind last year's deadly attack on Israel, the military announced on Thursday. Now, his death marks a significant blow to Hamas, as Sinwar had been one of the group's top leaders for years.
Yahya Sinwar was killed during an Israeli military operation in Rafah, Gaza's southernmost city. According to Israeli military sources, troops unknowingly encountered Sinwar during a battle, later identifying his body in the rubble. His killing comes just over a year after Hamas militants led an attack that left 1,200 Israelis dead and over 250 kidnapped, an event that triggered the current conflict. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu hailed the killings as a major achievement, stating that Hamas will no longer rule Gaza. He also reaffirmed Israel's commitment to continue the fight until all hostages are freed and to maintain control over Gaza to prevent Hamas from reaffirming. He also reaffirmed Israel's commitment to continue the fight until all hostages are freed and to maintain control over Gaza to prevent Hamas from rearming. This could signal the possibility of an extended military presence in Gaza. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, Israeli military spokesperson, revealed that Sinwar was discovered hiding in a building after troops spotted 3 Hamas militants fleeing during the battle. A shelling of the building later led to his death. DNA tests and dental records confirmed Sinwar's identity. He was reportedly found with grenades, a bulletproof vest, and 40,000 shekels. Sinwar had previously been imprisoned by Israel and underwent medical treatment for brain cancer, leaving extensive records that aided in his identification. While Israeli officials celebrate this as a major victory, Hamas has yet to confirm Sinwar's death. On the ground in Gaza, residents expressed mixed reactions. Some saw Sinwar as a symbol of resistance, while others hoped his death might bring an end to the ongoing Israeli military campaign. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant also called on Hamas fighters to surrender, urging them to release hostages and end the violence. With tensions high, this development signals a new chapter in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas.
We'll be back with an engagement with an expert in the digital field. Please stay tuned.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows, interviews, discovery documentaries, and news on AAU TV. It's not just about watching TV, it's about experiencing something special. AAU TV reaches over 25 countries in Africa, bringing you a blend of knowledge and fun. Learn about different cultures as you enjoy the shows. If you have events or want to showcase your business, we've got you covered. Watch AAU TV free-to-air channel on satellite. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, at AAU TV. Reach out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Are you a university, college, high school, private organization, NGO, individual professor, instructor or facilitator seeking to take advantage of the numerous benefits of online education? Look no further. The AAU eLearn Africa LMS is a great opportunity to begin your journey to online course development and creation for teaching, learning, and training purposes. AAU eLearn Africa LMS, which is a partnership between the Association of African Universities and eLearn Africa, has made available ease to use online learning tools to all stakeholders within the educational ecosystem of the African continent. This is to enhance teaching and learning in the bid to expand online learning opportunities for students in Africa. The online platform is open and available for free to all stakeholders and facilitates virtual access to classes without needing the other tools such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, among others. For more information, visit www.elearnafricalms.com or contact us via aaulms@aau.org or estherm@elearnafrica.com. Follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at AAU eLearn Africa LMS.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
Thank you for sticking with us. So today we are happy to dive into an inspiring conversation that aligns with one of the key missions of the SEED project. Now, the SEED stands for Strengthening the Europe-Africa Digital Ecosystem through Increased R&I Cooperation. And the SEED project is dedicated to empowering women and youth in the field of research and innovation. It aims to highlight the incredible contributions of women and youth who are driving change in their communities and also beyond. In this spirit, we are honored to welcome Ms. Marilena Maraco, who is a co-founder of Youth Makers Hub and has recently been recognized as the best digital change maker at the All Digital Awards 2024. She's joining us today virtually all the way from Greece to share her journey, the challenges she has faced, and also her vision for empowering the next generation of change makers. Hi, Madame Maraco, good morning and welcome to Hello Africa Morning Show.
Good morning. It's such an honor to be invited at this morning show. You can also use like my Ghanaian name is Essie Mansa. I was living in Cape Coast for some period and super glad to be attending this morning show.
Congratulate you on your award, and before we begin, asked how are you feeling as being recognized as the best digital change maker?
It feels great, and it's not just on a personal note. It's an award that belongs to the whole team of Youth Makers Hub, of the work that we have been doing all these years. And it feels so good when your work is being recognized on an international level.
Great. Thank you very much once again for joining us. So you are the co-founder of the Youth Makers Hub. I would like to know what was the inspiration behind the establishment of the initiative?
So it's always so nice sharing about the inspiration behind Youth Makers Hub. Youth Makers Hub has been established back in 2019, so we are counting already 5 years. Together with Konstantinos, co-founder and CEO, and also my brother. Back in 2018, we implemented our first voluntary project just a little bit, some months before establishing Youth Makers Hub. We implemented our voluntary project, We AfriHug. That project had the aim of bringing closer Africa and Europe through education. During that project that took place in 7 African countries, and more specifically from East Africa, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, and West Africa, Ghana, Togo, Nigeria, and then from North Africa, Algeria, we identified our passion for working on the ground in Africa, our passion in connecting Europe and Africa, and more specifically Greece. And we decided that we really wanted to have our own non-profit organization that we could build projects that have an impact in Europe and Africa. And this is how we envisioned Youth Makers Hub, having now the mission to serve as a catalyst for social change by providing the necessary tools and knowledge for fostering collaborations in Europe and Africa.
Great. And now looking at your vision and also your focus on Africa, you know, sometimes it is quite a challenge for people to change from their traditional way of doing things to move into the digital world. Now, what were some of the challenges you faced when you came up with the initiative and also working with Africans?
So, challenges is always part of a game. And of course, when you have a non-profit organization, the main challenge is actually the funding. Identifying the funding in order to implement your activities has been the main challenge since the beginning. And it needed a lot of effort, patience, and work on the ground in order to showcase and prove to people, okay, that we are doing something, and we really want the funding to implement specific and concrete activities. Having challenges working on the ground with in Africa, I wouldn't consider it as challenges, as interesting stories. It has been so interesting so far, working on the ground in several working environments. And I wouldn't like to call it like more general, like African, because when you work in Ghana and you are in the north, in Tamale, when you are in the south, in Cape Coast, is different, the mentality. So for me, it has been, not only for me, but for the whole team that we have been working on the ground, eye-opening experience. And we have been learning through the way in order to overcome challenges of funding or sometimes different class of cultures, which has not been perceived exactly as challenges, but mostly as opportunities for us to learn.
Your award is categorized as digital change maker. Someone watching will ask, what is digital change maker? So briefly define what it is and how important it is to young Africans.
So, digital change making is using, when we are using technology and online platforms, tools to drive positive social, economic, or environmental change. And then, why it is important for young people today, and more specifically for African young people, there are several reasons. First, wider reach. They can connect with global audiences, amplifying their voice and their cause. Secondly, it's about creativity. Digital tools allow innovative solutions to real-world problems. Moreover, it's also about, it's important because of the social impact. The youth can quickly mobilize for causes, creating real-time change by creating campaigns on the social media. And it's something that we have been seeing the last years that is working so well for young people. Then it's important because of the empowerment. It gives them the tools to lead and influence societal change. And finally, future skills. It helps build digital literacy, leadership skills for tomorrow's work phase. I think that's the most important reasons why the digital change-making concept is so important for young people.
Right. Right. So with your submissions, we can see Youth Makers Hub is doing a whole lot and doing marvelous work, especially in Africa. Now, we'll be happy to know some of their success stories, highlighting the impact. What have you done so far?
Sure. It's always a pleasure highlighting the things we have achieved so far. As mentioned before, we have been operating for 5 years so far, having implemented several projects in Europe and Africa. Some of the achievements that I could highlight, if we take them by order and how it has happened, back in 2018, We have taken the award of the Golden Laissez-Passer for 2018 for the project We Africa 2018, which was the initiation, the inspiration, the initial point, I would say, for a Youth Makers Hub. Then again, in 2019, we got the award of the Social Impact Change Maker from the Erasmus Mundus Association in Belgium. Then, if back in 2022, some of our projects, and more specifically, Post-Coviding Academy, digital literacy for seniors, digitally present, physically active, have been nominated as good practices by the Youth and Lifelong Learning Foundation from Greece. And then to make it more connected also with our work on the African ground, in 2023, and more specifically in July 2023, when we have been implementing boot camps in Uganda and Tanzania in the framework of the African EU project, we have been trending #1 in Twitter, both in Uganda and Tanzania, while implemented these boot camps. Then in 2023, in October, we have taken the Salto Award 2023 for our project New Citizenship. And one of the projects that we have been implementing, receiving the award in Poland. And the award was in the category of Democratic Life category under the Salto Awards. Then in 2023, one of the big highlights and achievements actually for Youth Makers Hub was the .eu Web Award 2023 for our project africaneu.eu. The award has been given to us by the European Registry of Domains, EURID, in Belgium. And it was in the category, it was for our website of African EU that has been mentioned before. And it was in the category of Lorere. It has been like a great achievement for us so far. Then more like let's go to 2024, we have been the national winner for the Charlemagne Prize for our project Youth Voices for Social Change. It has been the award for nomination for the European Charlemagne Youth Prize, have been the winner for Greece and made it to the finals in Aachen in Germany for this project. And the latest achievement of Youth Makers Hub is the award of the Best Digital Change Maker, awarded to myself and, of course, for the whole team of Youth Makers Hub. And you have shown also these nice photos from the award ceremony in Spain just a few days ago.
This is really impressive, and congratulations for the numerous awards taken this year. Now, so like I mentioned earlier, as part of the SEED project, we are encouraging women and the youth to participate in R&I activities. Now, what will be your advice to women and also the youth who are aspiring to make a change in the R&I ecosystem?
So, women play a vital role in driving research and innovation, bringing unique perspectives that fuel creativity, and they are leading actually to groundbreaking solutions. Their involvement improve the collaboration, and inspires the next generation of female innovators, creating the future leaders. By addressing global challenges which can be from public health to climate change, women can contribute and they are essential for a sustainable future. Promoting gender equality in research not only foster economic growth, but also it ensures that diverse voices are being heard and are being valued. Together, let's champion women in science, in research, in innovation, recognizing that their leadership is key in unlocking a brighter, a more equitable world nowadays.
And do you think do you think there are some specific skills that are very crucial for them to be able to, thrive in the field of research and innovation, being in the field, being an expert? What would be some of these essential skills that they will need?
Yeah, I think that like the most important in the 21st century, and as we are talking right now, which is like so much connected also with the award that I took last week in Spain, are the digital skills. Digital skills play a vital and important role in all the fields that we are working, because for the points, for the advantages mentioned like before, it really empowers us, it gives us voice, and through the digital skills, we can reach places that we have not imagined before.
Digital change maker. What is the next step? What are you planning to do? What are the future projects? What are we expecting from you as the best digital change maker?
So the next, let's say, steps and what we are currently actually working on as a team, as the team of Youth Makers Hub, and you can find like about us everywhere online. We are everywhere in all social media. We have some interesting projects that might be of interest, like for your audience. We have the AU-EU Youth Voices Lab, Power of the Collective, which is part of the AU-EU youth program that was kicked off actually in Addis the last days. This project aims to create a more youth-responsive and inclusive society. It enables transformative and co-creative actions by enabling two interlinked journeys: the youth and the enablers and the institutional journeys. It will also create the Youth Voices Lab app, application and mobile app that will help to reach youth and decision makers in Africa and Europe. You can find about this project also in our website. The coordinator is Oxfam Intermon and is being implemented by Restless Development, Comdev Africa, and Search for Common Ground, and of course Youth Makers Hub as the partner that is responsible for the whole communication and dissemination of the project. And we will also implement activities in several African countries, and you can connect like with us on the social media. Moreover, another project that is being currently implemented is the 3Eyes project, impactful, inclusive, integrated higher education in Eastern Africa, which actually aims to revolutionize higher education institutions in remote Somalia, Ethiopia, and Kenya regions. This innovative capacity building project empowers participating African universities to design impactful policy instruments and action plans. And I think both projects are like of great interest like for your audience, and we are more than available online to respond like to any question that your audience might have, and there will be many opportunities specifically like from the AU-EU Youth Voices Lab, part of the collective project for the next 4 years. And just to mention that we are 2 days ahead of the first Greece Africa Business Summit that would take place in Greece, and we have the honor to co-organize it with Interaf Base, a company based also in Greece, so we can give some more light to people about the collaboration between Greece, more specifically, and Africa. This is for now. More will come, so you can follow us online everywhere on social media.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marco, for making time and also sharing your insight and sharing the insight and also your journey with us, as well as the challenges. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time for joining us. And we are looking forward to more success stories from the initiative.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Have a great
nice
day ahead.
Day. So that was Miss Marilena Maraco, who is the co-founder of Youth Makers Hub, as well as being recognized as the best digital change maker during the All Digital Awards 2024. We will go for a quick break. When we come back, we shall dive into the news portal reviews.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
You're welcome back from the break. And first on the news portal reviews, and this we are looking from the we are taking from the University World News and focused in Nigeria. In a bid to avert industrial action in public universities, the federal government of Nigeria has inaugurated a 7-member committee to renegotiate a 2009 agreement with university unions, including the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The panel, led by Dr. Mahmoud Yajale Ahmed, aims to address the ongoing challenges in the country's higher education system. The committee, inaugurated by Minister of Education Professor Tahir Maman, has been given 3 months to conclude its work, engaging with key stakeholders such as ASU, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, that is SANU, the Non-Academic Staff of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, and the National Association of Academic Technologists, NAT, to produce agreements that could reposition Nigerian universities for national development. While ASU expressed cautious optimism, urging the committee to avoid repeating past failures, SANU and NASU raised concerns over possible favoritism towards academic staff. Experts like Gidi Ojo want the government to prioritize education in the upcoming budget to ensure meaningful reforms. Phil, so this is from Nigeria, where they are looking into their university, their educational system, and has set up a 7-member committee to look at their budget, what is going on, among others. And this actually, the agreement, right, has been in existence since 2017, and this is the 4th committee being set up to look into the agreement. Yeah, to look into the agreement and see what they are failing, what are the gaps and all that. Well, what is currently looks like most of the universities in Africa are looking into their books, trying to identify the gaps, what can they do to step up, you know, especially when we don't see the role of higher education in the development of Africa. What was your take in there?
I'm glad that they're trying to do something about it, but I'm just interested about the fact that since 2017, this is the 4th committee that has been set up to look into this matter. So if this is the 4th committee, what did the 1st committee do?
Yeah.
Coming down to the 4th committee, which has now started its work. I think that Africa really needs to wake up when it comes to the things we need to focus on. I am not sure why 4 committees will keep working on one thing. It is worrying for me, for all these unions to come together since 2017, 4 committees. I don't know if the work that the committees have done over the years have been evaluated such that the problems were not solved by the 1st committee, and we are now looking at the 4th committee. Like, that's where my problem is.
Yeah, so
in this
apparently,
article.
Yeah, apparently, they've been working, they've been identifying the gaps, they've been seeing the challenges, but the issue or the challenge is accountability and implementation. So they go, they meet, they give them durations with deadlines, they come up with reports, but after that, they don't implement it. So the challenge keeps growing up and keeps increasing and all that. That is why they've been urged or they've been encouraged not to repeat the past
The
failures.
past
And
errors.
so currently they are looking at accountability and implementation, which is something we are falling. I mean, it's when it comes to implementation, we will do the work, we will do the research, we will identify the gaps, we will come up with nice and robust solutions. But when it comes to implementation, then we start looking for things to blame to funding, uh, inadequate capacity, skills, resource, and all that. But if we can utilize what we have, we can step forward, we can do something. Just try, take the step, take the first step, and then you can you can move on. But we don't.
You know, the first step to solving problems is identifying the problem.
Okay.
If we have identified the problem as an issue of implementation, accountability, evaluation, whatever, what stops the previous committees or what stopped them from knowing that, okay, maybe when the first committee worked, the problem is they couldn't implement properly, they didn't evaluate it, and there was no accountability.
Yeah.
So that was what the second committee should have done. Just focus on the things that were not done.
Yeah, monitoring evaluation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just get the things done. Because what is happening is that when things continue like this, like since 2017, that's 7 years if my math is correct. So
Yeah.
if in 7 years the problem is still persistent, that just means that all of these unions who are working in these universities, their work or commitment towards the schools or the universities or institutions will not be 100%.
Yeah,
so
true.
there's going to be a deficit in there. So it is affecting higher education in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I feel these things must be tackled once and for all. And the process of monitoring and evaluation must be a key thing because we have identified what the problem is. So if we have seen these things and since 2017, it is still pending, I mean, it's a big deal because I believe that the committees, when they are working, they get paid.
Yeah.
So they should be able to account for what they are doing and whatever recommendations they make should whoever the authorities are who are supposed to be managing monitoring and evaluation and accountability and whatever that must make this work, they must be up and certain because if it continues like this, I mean, they probably think that they are not bothered because, okay, maybe they are just collecting their certain allowances and all of that, and that's about it. But the educational system in Nigeria is going to be affected big time. And in no time, the quality of graduates you are producing, the quality of research you are doing, all of these things will become problematic. And then nobody will be taking Nigeria seriously when it comes to education. So I think that they really need to sit up and do something about it.
Very true.
Yeah.
And one thing I liked about this union or the committee is involving other stakeholders.
Exactly.
Here we have the non-academic staff joining,
Yes.
we have the academics in technology.
Because all of these people work together.
They work together.
Yes.
So bringing them on board, I think it's a very good it's a very good initiative. And so with us discussions are ongoing, the union or the committee have actually come up with some wish list, if I can say that.
Okay.
So there are some actions or some things they've required in order to address the challenges the agreement is facing since its establishment in 2009. So one is providing money to revitalize universities.
Okay.
Of course, funding.
Yeah.
And then the other is paying lecturers their earned allowance. You know, if you've promised them,
comes back to funding.
if you've promised them to give them a percentage as allowance, or if you promise them to work and then you pay them, you need to do it. So accountability also counts here.
Yeah.
And they are also asking for a system to be deployed to ensure fair payment of salaries and also allowances. Still on money, right? So the system they are talking about is the transparency accountability system.
Okay.
And also they are requesting that the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement should be aimed to give universities more independence. So
Exactly.
So this is an agreement between the government and then the higher education, the university. So they are saying as they are trying to change or look into the challenges and come up with solutions, one of the key things is dependence. They shouldn't depend on the government.
Yeah.
They should be like they shouldn't be
government interference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is what some of the things they are requesting for in order to
for me. I'm happy they know where the problems are. So
they have. But majority is on money. Majority is on money.
You see,
money pay,
I believe
salary,
that when
accountability,
the institution was set up, there was definitely a way of, or they had a plan of how to probably make money and then pay their staff and whoever they need to pay to make the schools or institutions run. So these things should be, and you see, as an institution, if you think that you lack funding and you need to do proposals for grants, that's why all of these bodies are there. So they should get into the writing of proposals properly and then seek for funding, maybe for projects. And all of these things will be will help them to be able to fund.
Independent.
And it makes them independent. So I believe still the government has some level of responsibility towards the institutions. So whatever they need to do as well, they need to commit to it. If the institutions are going to be independent and make their own money and finance things, I'm sure the quota that the government will have to contribute will not be so much. Probably let's say 10% or less. You know, so the government should be able to do things of this nature, and then a larger chunk of the money will come from elsewhere.
Very true. And that is also going to improve accountability, because the quota I give it to you is not that much for me to feel pain or relax or feel reluctant paying or being accountable to what I'm with. So to the committee, we are encouraging you not to repeat their past failures, and also come up with robust solutions that are going to update or be impactful, especially to the agreement.
Right. So we'll go into the next story, and we're talking a story between Africa and Europe. The newly launched Africa-Europe Cluster of Research Excellence in Sustainable Food Systems, CORE SFS, aims to address global food challenges. Co-led by the University of Pretoria, UP, and the University of Bologna, the cluster unites 21 partners across Africa and Europe to advance research and education in sustainable food systems. Officially launched in October, the CORE SFS focuses on tackling wicked food system problems through interdisciplinary collaboration. Its long-term goal is to drive sustainable solutions in areas like food security, nutrition, and climate-smart agriculture, with a strong emphasis on gender, youth, and social inclusion. The cluster plans to train a new generation of scientists by enrolling 60 PhD students annually in a transdisciplinary program that spans Africa and Europe. With a focus on fostering equitable partnerships, the CORE SFS hopes to position itself as a global leader in sustainable food systems research. I like this story when I read it, because I like the fact that a lot of people and institutions, or let me say stakeholders, are talking about food security. It's a major factor. And my interest here in this CORE SFS focus is emphasizes on their emphasis on gender and youth inclusion. For me, young people need to engage in agriculture. When you talk about food security, you are just talking agriculture. Food security is just one part of it. Young people need to engage. Africa, if you ask me, if we are going to make it in terms of our levels of money or the
development,
economy.
Employment.
Exactly. One of the major places we need to be looking at is agriculture. A lot of African youth are not interested in looking at agriculture.
Do you know why?
Tell me why.
So back then, even in secondary school, if they want to punish you, they give you a calash to
go and weed.
So majority see they
see it as a punishment.
It's a punishment, and it doesn't really. There's no it doesn't really pay, but they don't know. When I was a producer for AgroLink, one of our programs, when you see these young people in agric, in farming, they kind I don't want to. I was so interested in it that I had plans of even going into farming, going into agriculture and all that. So they don't know. They really don't know.
Young people should wake up. I have had the chance to start a poultry farm. And even with the few birds that I had at the time, the money I was making every week was enough to keep me and to do things that I needed to do. And for me, the value chain, even when it comes to agriculture, is a major issue. Like there's nowhere in the chain where you do not make money.
Nah, from the farm to from the farm you can add value, and even what you added value you can add another value to it. Like it keeps going on and on, even to the last part,
to the last end
you think
user.
you can throw it away. Like you still can add value to it.
It's a lot of things that goes on in the field of agriculture. So beyond food security, beyond nutrition, beyond climate smart agriculture, like these things must be pushed. So I'm very excited to hear about gender and then youth and then social inclusion. So I think that it's a big thing. Young people must be able to take advantage of these things. And to our financial institutions, when young people come to you, please give them money to go into agriculture. It is the backbone of Africa's economy, whether you like it or yes.
So I think the income is there, the funding is there, the support is there, but it's just the interest of the youth. You know, just like you were saying, if they are interested, obviously they are going to find ways and means to get the money. And myself, I'm also very happy about this because almost for the past 2 weeks we've been talking about the core project, and we got to know that it is an initiative by the African Research Universities Alliance, which is ARA, and also the Guild of European Research Intensive Universities. So it's an AU-EU project. And last 2 weeks, we got to know that the clusters is categorized into 4 interdisciplinary groups. We have the public health, we have the green transition, innovation and technology, and then the capacities for science. So with this new initiative being launched, I think it is under the public health. And I'm saying this because looking at the focus or the issues they want to address, which is poverty, health, and then climate change, all this is under public health. I personally, like you said, I like it, and the fact that they are engaging youth and then women into it. When you go, even in Ghana here, taking Ghana, just Ghana, when you look at the population, the number of people involved in agriculture, especially women, majority falls under women. So if they really want to bring in more women and youth, it's going to be a big thing.
It's going to be a big thing.
And then I like the approach they are taking, or they are proposing, that there's a developing future food systems leaders, which they are hoping to admit 60 PhD students in that discipline to
every year
build their capacity. It's a good and then the collaborative research here, I kind of find it a bit, because maybe collaborative research, that is EU-AU, right? So well, maybe it will be the module or
it depends on the content of the model.
Yeah, because when it comes to contextualize it, what you are facing there is kind of different from what we are facing in Africa. So maybe, maybe they'll pick the modern approach when it comes to research, maybe capacity building and all that.
Definitely.
It's a good
but there must be some focus when it comes to Africa, or let me say they must contextualize the African part of a lot of research when it comes to the PhD programs. All right, so let's move on to the next story.
Next story is in South Africa and still on the University World News. Now, in a recent address at the 3rd Higher Education Conference hosted by Universities South Africa in Pretoria, Professor Adam Habib, former Vice-Chancellor of the University of the Witwatersrand and current Director of the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London, raised critical concerns about the challenges facing higher education today. He noted that vice-chancellors and university administrators are often constrained by the political and economic environment in their countries, leading to a focus on short-term priorities rather than developing sustainable, medium-term solutions to contemporary issues. The conference, themed "The Future of the University," provided a platform for discussions on emerging trends in higher education and their impact on essential university functions, including teaching, research, leadership, transformation, and preparing graduates for future economic participation. Professor Habib emphasized the transnational nature of today's global challenges, from pandemics to climate change, and called for collaborative efforts. He stated, "We must learn to swim together or we will collectively sink," highlighting the importance of global knowledge exchange to address pressing issues like inequality and climate change across various regions. Phil.
Yeah.
So this is Professor Habib during his statement in a conference calling for a collaborative effort, we swimming together, or else we are all going to sink. Yes. So sometimes universities or institutions want or like to work in isolation because they think this is our problem, but they don't know. Looking at the environment, Professor Habib made mention pandemics.
Yeah.
In a let's say it started from, let's just take the mpox for instance.
Yeah.
It started from Congo, right? DR Congo, and now DRC, and now it's spreading. Do you get what I'm saying? So your problem, you think it is for you only, but no, very very soon you see it is a collective issue. So don't just be working in isolation and trying to get the solutions, but rather we all have to come together. We need to share the knowledge sharing, knowledge transformation, and all that, so that we can address it once and for all. As we are addressing it together with you, same thing, we are also doing it for ourselves. So this is what's your take with Professor Habib's approach?
I very much agree with his statements, especially when it comes to short-term priorities. Because what I have noticed is that in his statement, he's talking about short priorities being a focus rather than building medium-term solutions. For me, a short-term approach would work if there is a long-term plan.
Yeah.
Then you can be doing it in the short-term or medium-term. But if there's no long-term plan and then the focus is on short-term priorities and they are not even building medium-term solutions, then that's a major problem right there. So the institutions need to put themselves together and reassess their plans and evaluate whatever models they are working with, and make sure that if it's a short-term thing, at least something should be added to it to make it into a medium-term. And I mean, to a large extent, there should be a long-term plan so that there's a process that will facilitate it if that is within the short-term process. So that then you know that at every cycle, maybe when this one ends, it is the introduction to the next stage of whatever that needs to be done. Because if these things are not done, at the end of the day, there's not going to be any solution that's going to be done. Resources will be wasted, time will be wasted, people will come and go, they will pass through the system, and at the end of the day, nothing gets done.
Yeah.
So I agree that if we don't do things together, we are collectively going to sink. So the institutions must work hand in hand together. All the stakeholders need to come together and make sure that, like, there should be a chain of let me say, how do I put it? A chain of order where when you move from A, you know you're going to B.
Yeah.
And all of these things should be detailed such that when you're working on these models or projects or whatever that you want to call them, it will work very well, and then there won't be any lapses. I mean, I know when it comes to projects, there are issues here and there, things of that nature, but that's why you must do a proper plan. And then you keep evaluating and moving on whilst you're doing all of this. And so I think that this is what should be done. I'm happy that it has been pointed out that the short-term priorities must be cut out or be halted, and then a medium-term plan or solution should be used to address these issues.
So aside he proposing we come together and then work collectively, he also made mention of some key insight or key approach if we want to shape the future together, things we have to focus on. So let's take it one after the other. The first one is leadership matters. Here he's saying the university leadership must be context sensitive, ensuring access to quality education while maintaining financial stability for long-term social justice. What would you say? I try to get understand what he's saying, but I really don't get. So maybe you can help me out.
This is my opinion. Leadership is everything.
Yeah.
The institutions have leaders. They have faculties. They have departments. People manage these places. So if there is no sensitivity in the context in which they do the things in terms of leadership, then basically the institution shouldn't even exist in the first place. So if there is no direction from the top, from the leadership, nothing is going to work well, because at the end of it, he says all of this must ensure that accessing quality education and is what has to be done while maintaining financial stability for a long-term social justice.
Yeah.
So like it just when the mention of long-term, it comes back to the short-term priorities issue that was mentioned. So it means that from the top there's no plan, or it looks like there's no plan. I don't want to say there's no plan. It looks like there's no plan.
Okay.
So from the top, if leadership is going to make sure that the context within which they are working, everything is done. You are moving from A to B before you go to
The
B.
next plan.
What were the shortfalls in A?
Okay.
Correct them. Then you move to B. Like, think it must be some sort of a standard operational thing so that there is no major challenge when you are making progress. That way, you even make progress quicker in terms of plan when it comes to anything that you need to work on. So leadership really needs to be on top of their game if the institutions are going to do well in the various fields that they are serving in.
I get it now. And then the second approach, or the second action he is talking about is the consequences are essential. Now, promoting institutional and national citizenship requires not just education, but consequences of malevolent behavior, particularly violence. So with this, if I understand, he's saying when we are talking about citizenship, we are talking about institutional and national citizenship. It's not just educating people, but then there should be some consequences, especially with the violence, which I agree.
Yeah.
If you break the rules, if you break the law, and you are so violent and you are destroying state properties, and you should face the consequences. And when doing that is actually you showing your citizenship, your responsibility
as a citizen. I agree.
There should be some consequences when it comes to violence. And
Yeah.
also the third one is capabilities are critical, which I also like. I haven't seen any statement or any news, like nothing which had focused on this. So when I saw, I was really happy. He said the COVID-19 pandemic revealed how a lack of state capabilities disproportionately harms citizens.
Exactly.
So during the COVID-19, the government tried every possible ways to come up with strategies to curb or to avoid, but because of the citizens, because they really are not capable, they don't have the knowledge, and you can't even force them. You are saying I should wear nose masks. What if I'm not capable of acquiring? I don't even know the benefits of wearing. I can say, okay, I can't breathe well because when I wear it, I can't breathe well, so I won't wear it. Do you get it? So he's saying that the capabilities of the citizens is also needed. So when we are focusing on the future of Africa, we need to build the capabilities of the citizens so that as the government is working, trying to find solutions, the citizens are also supporting based on their knowledge, based on their skills, based on the capabilities they've acquired.
One of the state's capabilities that harmed citizens was the lack of inadequate medical staff to handle the pressure of the pandemic. It looked, and I mean, I don't want to say that I'm making an excuse for governments in Africa, but even the United States, look at how much they were hit by the pandemic and the number of people that died during the lockdown. Consistently, when you're watching CNN, it is heartbreaking. The toll of death increasing by the day. I mean, in the hundreds every day. It was serious. So what it means is that the capabilities of the institutions must be there. When pandemics are about to break out, they don't give you a warning.
No.
They don't give you a warning. Even natural disasters do not give you a warning, even though we know they exist. So the state capabilities must be something that a lot of institutions or government institutions must begin to prioritize, so that when we have things of this nature, like the system can handle it. I know it can be overwhelming, but when there is a plan, there is always a way out. So some of these things must be looked at and be put in place.
Very true. So I'll just read through the next 2 points he made mention. The fourth one is efficient spending on vital. He's saying the public institution must focus not only on how much they spend, but how effectively resources are allocated, which I also like that. And then the last one is good governance is indispensable. Effective stewardship of public institutions is essential, with governance based on more than past experiences of instability or protest.
Yeah.
So these are some of the actions or the proposals Professor Habib is giving out if you are talking about shaping the future of Africa.
These points are completely in order, and I totally agree, especially with the last one, good governance. It is indispensable. Like, we cannot gamble with good governance. There's no two ways about it. We must get it right.
Yeah, very true. So we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the News Portal review. Please stay tuned.
The CGC Show is back on your screens. This season on the CGC Show, bring you nothing short of interesting and, of course, educative interviews. We are going to delve into the areas of technical and vocational education and training, TVET. We will get interactive with our professional and well-experienced guests to educate us on how to attain the career path you have been dreaming of in TVET. On the show, we focus mainly on highlighting career opportunities and job prospects available in the program you are studying or yet to read at the tertiary level. Better yet, we help you understand that whatever venture you are in can contribute to the economic development of our beautiful continent. Join me, Mr. Ko, on the CGC Show on AAU TV as I engage experts and professionals to help build and nurture your career. The CGC Show, your trusted pathway to your dreams.
This is Hello Africa on AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Vena Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
You're welcome back from the break, and next on the News Portal reviews, we are picking this from Kenya. Professor Jane Ambuko's pioneering research in food laws and waste offers transformative insights into the importance of transitioning solutions from academic research to practical applications, particularly for smallholder farmers. After identifying the critical issues of food waste during her first project in Makueni County, Kenya, Ambuko's focus shifted towards developing sustainable, low-cost technologies to reduce FLW, especially in perishable crops like fruits and vegetables. In her professional inaugural lecture titled "From the Lab to the Land, Solutions for Food Loss and Waste Reduction for the People and the Planet," Ambuko emphasized the necessity of extending innovative research solutions to end users like farmers and processors. These innovations include low-cost cold storage system, solar drying technologies, and small-scale fruit processing, which have been successfully implemented in several counties in Kenya through collaborations with development partners such as the Rockefeller Foundation and the World Food Programme. Ambuko's personal experience of her late mother losing maize to pest due to poor storage facilities, alongside her observation of the massive waste of highly perishable horticultural produce, inspired her research journey. For her, addressing FLW is not only about food preservation, but also about improving the livelihoods of smallholder farmers and achieving the UN's Sustainable Development Goal 12, which aims to have food waste by 2030. Phil, so this is a researcher who has identified an opportunity during her research journey. So she went to the farmers, engaged with them, and then as she was doing, during her journey, she identified that most of the vegetables and fruits they produce from the farm go to waste. And just like we were talking about in the News Portal review, and I think the previous story where we need, when it comes to value for food, agriculture, nothing go waste. But here, a researcher identified that the food, most of the produce from the farm go to waste due to inadequate storage facilities. So she ended up coming up with some initiatives, solutions, technologies to address these. Some of the food dryers, the low-cost cold storage system, and then small-scale food processing to add values to these foods before it gets to the end users.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't know, but maybe I don't get it right. But back in school, when I was about to do my research, we were advised not to use our environment, something like that. I think maybe the data. But to me, I think if you belong in a society, that is where you can identify a problem, and that is where you can come up with solutions or even do research to address this. And that is exactly what Professor Ambuko did.
Yeah.
She was involved in the community. She was with the farmers, and even using the experience her mother went through, seeing her mother lose some of the maize to pest. She was able to come up with solutions, and this has been replicated and being used by others in different counties in Kenya through collaborations with development partners. And it's a kudos to it. I really like it. I like it when people identify problems and find opportunities from these problems and then get things done. I really like it.
This is a good thing for me because a few weeks ago I read something. Let me just shift away from Kenya a little bit. In Ghana, where farmers struggle to bring their produce from their farms to the market. One of the challenges, I don't know if it is the same with Kenya, where where perishable crops like fruits and vegetables go bad. One of the problems in Ghana was the lack of good roads.
Transportation.
From the farms to the market. And so, for example, in the rainy season, you get a vehicle which is trying to transport vegetables, fruits, get stuck in the mud, and there's no proper equipment to pull out these vehicles. So for days they are stuck in the mud.
There's no storage,
and there's no storage facility close by. So they are stuck there. It takes days for them to be taken out of the mud. By the time they are out, close to 50% of the produce is going bad. These are problems. Even if there were some means by which this produce could be taken care of even at the farm. And then a proper means of transportation is found to move these things. It will help the farmers. What's the point of growing produce and then it's
maybe half of the
exactly, they go bad. Nobody's able to consume them. But I'm producing on a commercial basis so I can be able to sell. And for farmers, this is what they live on. So if I'm growing fruits and vegetables and then at the end of the day it's going to go bad and then it's going to go to waste, what is the point? Because they go through a lot to make sure the seeds go into the ground, they will water them, they will fertilize them. I mean, look at the process. And it is, farm is an everyday thing. It's not a job that you do and then sometimes you just go and say, okay, every day you've got to pay attention. People use irrigation systems. All of these things are, I mean, they are things that will cost you money. So you go through all of these things, and then at the end of the day, the fruits and the vegetables go bad. It's a problem. So it's a good thing that Professor Mbuko has been able to come up with something that will help to preserve the farm produce, so that then the farmers can make more of their labor. So it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. And also, I think one of the solutions they have to look at is, aside you coming up with the products or services to help at least reduce the number of foods or going waste, they also need to educate the farmers.
Exactly.
Sometimes even if the equipment are not there, there are some traditional ways of preserving. You can even dry the fruits outside, like we do to cassava, and where we get a dried flour, cassava flour to cook another. Do you know what I'm saying? You can even cook and blend it to produce juice, even if it's in small quantities. Educating the farmers to also know how to add values to the product, even before it gets to the market, and not just look at the raw materials. No, they may not be the facilities, they may not be the resources there, but traditionally there are several ways you can add values to your food. And the maize, for instance, you can do a whole lot of things with maize. You can roast them, blend it into some brown. You can dry them, blend it into something else. There are a whole lot of things you can do with maize without needing a lot of resources or a lot of modern equipment to add values to
I totally agree that the farmers themselves need to, beyond being educated, they need to make sure that whatever they are producing has, when it comes to agriculture, there's a lot of things you can do with many products. So they should be able to look into some of these things and then find a way to quickly turn these things into some of these products so that they will avoid some of these losses.
Very true. And then moving to the next story.
Yeah, so the next story is similar to what we just talked about, and this one is in Rwanda. So Claudine Kamanzi, raised in a traditional farming family, witnessed the severe post-harvest losses that affect over 70% of Rwandan farmers. Despite efforts to improve farming methods, about 60% of produce, especially perishable ones like tomatoes, goes to waste due to inadequate storage. Determined to address this, Kamanzi and a team of students from Rwanda Institute of Conservation Agriculture, RICA, developed Fruit Fresh, an energy-efficient charcoal cooler made from locally sourced materials. The cooler maintains a temperature of 10 degrees Celsius without electricity, keeping tomatoes fresh for up to 2 weeks. This solution is especially useful in rural areas where refrigeration is expensive and electricity is scarce. Fruit Fresh won the 2024 Wedge Award Prize, a global competition that challenges teams to design solutions to major problems using circular economic principles. After extensive research and farmer engagement, the team tested their prototype in Rutiro district, storing up to 3 tons of tomatoes as they refined their project. They plan to expand and offer affordable storage to more farmers, helping reduce waste and increase food security in Rwanda. Very impressive story, an initiative here by this young lady and her team, because I was impressed to hear that they could save or store about 3 tons of tomatoes. Is it 3 tons? Yeah, 3 tons of tomatoes for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Tomatoes easily goes bad. Easily goes bad.
Yeah.
So for them to be able,
a short period, it just goes
so within this period for 2 weeks, if you can be able to save 3 tons, you only should. And I'm glad that everything they use is locally acquired.
Yeah.
So it means that in terms of costs, in trying to preserve tomatoes, cost is not going to be high.
No, it's not going to be an issue. It's not going to be an issue.
It's not a major issue. So it means that farmers can look up to this solution, and then they will be able to, safeguard their. So I think this is a good thing. What do you think?
Actually, this is in line with what we just discussed, and this is in Rwanda compared to Kenya. And also, it still focuses on vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
Fruit, which is one of the crops that can go bad, just
easily.
Like you said, easily within few days.
A few days, yeah.
So I and she's a young person too, right?
Yeah.
And a lady. So I think it's a good initiative, and like I said, we need to identify, looking at our environment, get to know what the challenges are, find opportunities to it, and then come up with the solutions to address them. So, and then I like the fact that they even won an award with the Fruit Fresh.
So it means the initiative has already been recognized.
It's been
and I'm glad to know that they have support from the Rwanda Ministry of Agriculture.
Just like the previous
key
story, which also had support from development. It's a good initiative. We can do it. We can do. We have the skills. We have the knowledge. We have everything
it takes. We have everything it takes to make things work in Africa for Africa. So kudos to the Rwanda Ministry of Agriculture for supporting this initiative.
And also, I like the fact that they are looking at, although they are trying to solve the problems in their community, the focus is addressing the sustainable development goals. The previous one was looking at SDG 12, and this is also looking at SDG 2, which is zero hunger. So if we have that in mind, by the end of 2030, we can be able to at least acquire or achieve some of these goals that have been set.
Exactly. Very attainable.
All right, so we'll go for quick commercial break. When we come back, we shall dive into the world of sports. Please stay tuned.
I'm here with the Association of African Universities Television, AUTV. I just want to say that without the media, you won't know what's going on in the world. Even with the media, you sometimes don't know what's going on in the world. So you need to tune in to the reliable sources who are really on the front lines, who can give you the information you need and give you facts, not conjecture, give you real news, not fake news. And this is the place to find it, AUTV.
The voice of higher education in Africa.
Explore a whole new world of exciting visuals with AAU TV. Get ready for a mix of interesting talk shows out on call or WhatsApp us at +233 26 629 6601 or +233 20 399 5210. AAU TV, the voice of higher education in Africa.
Hello, Africa. Keep watching AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks. Welcome back, and you're still live on the Hello Africa show, coming to you from the AAU TV in Accra, Ghana. And we'll go straight into sports right now. And we'll begin with some trending news. Xavi Hernandez, since being sacked by Barcelona at the start of June, has been enjoying time away from football. He's still located in Catalonia, and he recently met with Hansi Flick, his successor at Barcelona. However, he could soon relocate back to the Middle East. Xavi was head coach of Al Sadd before taking over at Barcelona in 2021, and a return to Qatar appears to be on the cards for him. According to local newspaper Al Raya via Sports, he is negotiating a possible incorporation as the national team's next manager. Tintin Marquez, who also hails from Barcelona, is the current head coach of Qatar's national side. Although he is reported to be under pressure, if he is relieved of his duties, Xavi would be well placed to succeed him. Xavi had promised to take a sabbatical year upon his departure from Barcelona, although it appears that a return to management could soon take place anytime soon. And then Juventus director also confirms that the club no longer has a relationship with Paul Pogba. So we are yet to see where Paul Pogba will play his football next. On to Luka Modric and Real Madrid. Real Madrid captain Luka Modric continues to prove age is just a number this season. The Croatian international produced a superb cameo off the bench as Los Blancos sealed a winning return to La Liga action this weekend. The veteran campaigner led games over the weekend, while Chelsea and Arsenal lost by 2-1 and 2-0 respectively to Liverpool and Bournemouth. Liverpool sit on top of the table with 21 points, followed by Manchester City with 20 points and Arsenal in third position with 17 points. Chelsea sits in sixth position with 14 points, while Manchester United sits in the 11th position with 11 points after match week 8. To the Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid also won their games this weekend. Real Madrid won 2-1 against Celta Vigo, and Mbappe was on the score sheet. Barcelona thumped Sevilla by 5-1, and the 3 points still keeps them on top of the table with 27 points. Atletico Madrid came from behind with 1 goal down to beat Leganes by 3. So the match ended 3-1. Real Madrid is in second position with 24 points, followed by Atleti with 20 points. In the Italian Serie A, Napoli, Inter Milan, Juventus, and AC Milan all won their games to keep the points on the table very close. Napoli leads the pack with 19 points, followed by Inter Milan with 17, Juventus with 16, and then AC Milan with 14 points. And then finally in the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich leads the table with 17 points after beating Stuttgart 4-0. RB Leipzig sits in the second spot also with 17 points, and the difference between the two top teams is 8 goals, plus 17 in favor of Bayern Munich, and then plus 9 for RB Leipzig. Leverkusen sits in fourth position with 14 points, and Dortmund in the seventh position with 13 points. And this is the end of the updates in the world of sports from the weekend.
So during the weekend, I saw people bashing Chelsea, and I don't know why. I don't know why. So when you were giving the update, I got to know, okay, so apparently they lost their match
against Liverpool. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a game. One loses, one wins. So.
I think that Liverpool played better, if you ask me. I watched the game. Liverpool played better.
Okay.
But I think Chelsea could have taken some chances as well.
They had a chance?
They had good chances they could have taken. And they didn't do so well in that regard. Liverpool was more on points than Chelsea. Maybe Liverpool because of the home support, because they played at home.
At home.
At Anfield.
Yeah, sometimes it counts when the support is massive.
Advantage. And Anfield is not easy to play at. Anfield is not easy to play at by any team. So when teams are facing Liverpool at Anfield, it's almost always a big deal. So maybe it could be part of the reason. But I think personally that Liverpool did better. But Chelsea, they are playing well this season. So they could have probably... in a worst case scenario, maybe they could have drawn the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, Liverpool was better on the day.
And besides, the match, the league is not over yet.
It's not over yet.
And they're on the 6th.
This is the 8th week.
Yeah, they're on the 6th position.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Maybe they will bypass.
I mean, it's still the decider is still far off. So.
Yeah.
But you know, like we say in Chiagrobe, if you are Papa. So when you meet the big teams, when you perform, it's a big deal. For example, if they had drawn against Liverpool, it would have been good for them. So that then maybe when you miss the smaller teams, then you can be winning. Then it's fine. For me, that's what should work for most big teams. When you miss anybody in the top 4, you either the worst should be a draw.
Yeah.
So that when you miss the smaller teams, then you take your chances from there. But that's what happens. So let's just hope that maybe next weekend they will bounce back with some winning ways.
Right. So that is it for sports, right? So before we go for a break, I am happy to announce that currently, or from now onwards, you can celebrate your birthday. You can celebrate anniversaries, wish your friends and families and loved ones on our platform on this show by going to our social media handles, Association of African Universities, and on Instagram and also TikTok and Twitter to just comment. And also we have our WhatsApp number, which is on the screen. You can take the number and then send your wishes to your loved ones. So today we are celebrating Madame Sandra Esinam Amemazo. We are doing this together with Pius, and Pius is saying, I know there's so much more in you that the world is yet to see. Embrace that vision, aim for greatness, dear friend. I'll be right here cheering you on, supporting you every step of the way. Cheers to 22 SC. So happy birthday to you, Madame Sandra Esinam. This is from Pius. We wish you all the blessings, and may God grant you all your heart's desires. So please go to our social media platforms, take the number, and then celebrate your loved ones on our show. We will go for a quick break and be back to wrap up the show. Please stay tuned.
This is Hello Africa on AAU TV.
This program is proudly sponsored by Venom Mineral Water, Share the Love, and Bigo Drinks.
You're welcome back from the break, and thank you for sticking with us throughout the discussions and throughout the show. So we are wrapping up for today. And Phil, what have you been discussing so far?
Well, today we started off from 1 second. Let me swipe down. We started off in Nigeria.
Okay, sure.
Talking about the rollout of the malaria vaccine, and then we went to into the Mpox issues, talking about the death toll that has risen. And then we went to Togo, talking about Yango, the ride-hailing app, which have whose activities have been halted because of security concerns. And then Dangote also set to begin crude oil production in 2025. Yeah.
And also we engaged Miss Marilena Marako from Greece, who is the co-founder of Youth Makers and has been recognized as the best digital co-changer during the All Digital Awards 2024. We also, in our news portal reviews, we identified or celebrated, in a way, celebrated 2 researchers who identified opportunities from their research journey and has come up with a robust solutions to curb the number of vegetables and fruits going, being damaged on the farm. So these and many we've been discussing. And in sports,
in sports, we have discussed Chelsea's downfall over the weekend to Liverpool. Fortunately, Manchester United have come back to winning ways, and we hope that they will continue. I know they are not happy this year, but we'll see what happens in the coming weekend.
Right.
But there's Champions League action coming up in the weekend. We'll talk about it next week.
Okay. And just like we said previously, you can celebrate your loved ones on our platform by going to our social media handles and also our WhatsApp number to just send your wishes to them. My name is Isabella Tetahinakwa, and I've been here with my co-host
Philemon Edwards.
Have a nice day.